Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Tobias and today I'm reviewing the Redragon Andante GS812 gaming speakers. These speakers are in that budget under $100 price range, and actually on their website it looks like they're on sale right now for $43.99, and the regular price is $64.99. However, they do seem to be currently sold out, but I will have the link for them down in the description below so you can check if they're back in stock at the time that you're watching this video. But anyways, let's go ahead and start off with the unboxing. As you can see inside the box, there is a Redragon sticker sheet, some basic instructions, a power supply, and of course the two speakers with the connected cables. The first thing to note here is that the cables, besides the power supply, are fixed or hardwired to the speakers themselves, so you can't disconnect them. This includes the cable that connects the left speaker to the right speaker. From what I've seen on YouTube from other people who have reviewed the Andante GS812s, as well as the Redragon website, it looks like in the past the left speaker could be disconnected from the right speaker, as its connection was a USB-A cable. However, now it's hardwired, which doesn't really make a difference to me, but I figured I should mention it. The next thing that I wanted to mention, judging by this sticker on the back of the left speaker, it does look like these speakers go through some kind of a quality control process, which is great because buyers will be less likely to end up with a defective unit. However, having said that, I did notice a slight imperfection with one of my 3.5mm cables. As you can see here, the tip of this aux cable is slightly bent. However, I've tested it out and it still works perfectly fine. So I can see how this would have easily slipped past quality control. Also, it does appear to be perfectly straight unless you look at it from a particular angle. So it's not something that I would personally hold against them, but if something like this was an issue for you, I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem getting a replacement from Redragon. I should also mention that all new products bought from the Redragon website come with a 2-year warranty. Now, when it comes to setting the speakers up, all you have to do is plug the power supply into an outlet and the other end in right here on the right speaker. If you're going to be using the aux cable to play audio through these speakers, I would recommend plugging the aux cable into your computer or other device before turning the speakers on. To turn the speakers on, just hold the power button for a few seconds. Once the speakers are turned on, the power button can be used for its secondary function, which is switching between aux mode and Bluetooth. The GS812 has Bluetooth 5.0, and it will show up in your Bluetooth devices as GS812. To test possible delay, I'll show you a quick demonstration of me playing a few seconds of one of my YouTube videos with the Redragon Andante in Bluetooth mode. You'll also need that micro SD card if you want to record a video with the OBS-bot like I'm doing right now. After you insert your SD card, from what I can see, there doesn't seem to be a delay in the audio, which is good. If we take another look at the side of the right speaker, we'll see that there's a volume knob and a bass knob. And the bass seems to be a pretty important feature of these speakers. I'm going to mic up one of these speakers to give you a demonstration of how the bass sounds. Now the doors are closed, and it's 3:30 now. Had a girl back home. She don't trust in me now. Sorting by the coast. Now, this isn't really the best way to demonstrate how the speakers actually sound, since the audio is being translated by my microphone and then translated again through your speakers or your headphones, but hopefully you got a rough idea for the sound. You might have noticed that the bass knob definitely does affect the audio. However, even when the bass knob was turned up all the way, it still wasn't super bassy, and actually if I was listening to music on these speakers, I would just turn that bass knob up all the way, which in my opinion just makes the music sound as it should. I also want to mention that there are portholes on the back of these speakers to help with that bass, and when I turn the bass knob all the way up and I also turn the volume up, I can actually feel air coming out of these portholes. Now, some people might criticize the lack of bass that these speakers have, but in my opinion, for the price and size of these speakers, I think that the bass is actually pretty good. And I just want to mention that I'm not a speaker expert, but from what I understand, when it comes to small speakers in general, it's going going to be difficult to get a lot of bass because small speaker cones can't move as much compared to large speaker cones to produce a lot of bass. Also, these are fairly lightweight speakers, which tells you that they probably have pretty small drivers, and while you may have heard other small speakers produce more bass than these, I'm willing to bet that those speakers cost a lot more than $64.99. For example, my KRK Rocket 5s produce significantly more bass than these Redragon speakers, even although the speakers are only 2 inches bigger than the Redragon speakers. However, the KRK Rocket 5s are $300 for a pair. Like I said earlier, at this price point, the bass from the GS812s is decent. One thing I will say though is that they do seem to be a bit heavy in the higher mid frequencies, but like I said, at this price point, I think they're pretty decent sounding. There's also a headphone jack on the Redragon Andante, and one thing I noticed is that the volume knob does affect the headphone jack, however the bass knob does not. So I did notice some reduced bass from the headphone jack. The bass was actually even a bit lower than when I have my headphones just plugged directly into my computer. I don't know why exactly that is. There's also a 3.5mm mic pass-through, which I believe is for people who have a line-in mic input on their computer. I don't have one, so I tried testing it out with my camera and my camera's microphone. It worked, however, I did seem to get some background buzzing. It wasn't super noticeable, but I figured the way that I was testing it isn't how it's actually meant to be used. But either way, it did work. And the last feature I'd like to talk about are the RGB lights. There are 4 different modes that you can switch through by pressing this button. One setting has all the colors, another setting responds to audio, the next setting fades between the different colors, and the last setting is the solid color setting. So while you're on the previous color fading setting, you can push the RGB button when you see the color you want and it will stay on that color. I like the RGB on these speakers because it's not too over the top. When it comes to the look of these speakers, I actually think they're pretty cool looking. I like the wood grain texture and the subtle RGB. One thing I would probably change though is I would make the Redragon logo a little bit more subtle. Like maybe it would look nice in a glossy black or even a darker gray. Because right now I feel like the silver color draws my eyes straight to the logo when I look at the speakers. Another change I may suggest is making the cables removable. For example, if I just want to use these speakers as Bluetooth speakers, I don't really need the aux cable or the mic cable. And in the end, do I think these speakers are worth the $64.99 price tag? I'd say so. They sound good for the price and they look cool. But as usual, I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think the Redragon Andante GS812 gaming speakers are worth it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you did like this video or if it helped you out, I'd really appreciate it if you went down there and gave this video a like. That'd help me out so much. If you would like to see more of my videos in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll go ahead and put my Instagram right here in case you'd like to follow me there. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace!